Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS, broadcasting live from the gutter. 0-5 Monday night. Holy hell. The Pacers, I thought that was a great bet. Lost. The Clippers, okay, I got unlucky with the injury updates. It happens. Not really worried about that. Also, Brooklyn was just a bad bet, and I knew it was a bad bet like an hour after I placed it. The Pacers was the one where it was my biggest bet of the night. I thought it was a great bet, and I was just flat out wrong. The other two losses were college basketball, and I don't really sweat the college basketball losses because I'm usually just tailing somebody. I'm not a college basketball guy, so obviously it sucks losing money, but it's like my livelihood is the NBA. So when I lose in the NBA, it's like, oh, I did something wrong rather than like I tailed the wrong pick, if that makes any sense. Need to turn this around. The last month has been so good to me. I'm 1-9 in the last 2 days. So Sunday and Monday, terrible for me. So let's get this turned around. I think we got 7 or 8 NBA games for Tuesday night. Let's do it.
Is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points?
I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. First up, we got Boston on the road in Toronto here. The Celtics are 9-1. That's straight up in their last 10 games, 7-3 against the number, 5-0 in their last 5, 3-0 in their last 3. They've covered 5 straight. They've won 5 straight. Obviously, they're laying points every single time. On the last 10 games, the Celtics are 5th offensively in terms of efficiency, 5th defensively. That's against the 14th strongest schedule. Meanwhile, the Raptors are 25th, 21st against the 6th strongest schedule. Injuries on the Celtics side, no Drew Holiday. He's been ruled out for this one. Same goes for Luke Cornett. Al Horford is also on the report. He's listed as questionable. On the Raptors side, no Brandon Ingram. Jakob Poeltl listed as questionable. Hopefully they'll get him back. Grady Dick is also on the report. He's listed as probable. So let's get into this one, and we'll start with the Celtics offense, which has looked great. In the last 12 games, they have an offensive rating over 121. Not that the Celtics offense was ever bad, but no question, if you compare it to the 12 games before that, you'll see the Celtics offense is definitely humming right now. Now, Toronto has played a little bit of defense. In their last 5 games, they have a defensive rating below 110. That's solid. Certainly better than the 5 games before that when it was over 125. And if you look at the last 5 games, you got Cleveland in there. That's the best offense in the NBA. Cleveland did light the Raptors up, though. You got Miami, Phoenix, Houston, Philadelphia. So maybe not the strongest schedule with the exception of Cleveland. But still, Raptors are playing a little bit of defense in the last handful of games. The problem is right here. What does the Celtics offense do a lot of stylistically? A lot of ISO, a lot of spot-up shooters. Both play into the weakness of this Raptors defense. They're actually 27th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against isolation. Now, we can't say this is a great matchup for the Celtics offense across the board, though. We got to give Toronto some credit. They've played decent defense against the three-point shot. In fact, they've played good defense against the three-point shot. 8th in frequency, 8th in efficiency in the last 10 games. Obviously, we know the Celtics love the launch shots from out there. In the last 10 games, 1st in frequency, 3rd in efficiency. So there's something if you're trying to bet the Raptors here. They have played solid defense against the above-the-break three-point shot. The problem for me when it comes to the Raptors in this matchup is actually on the other side of the ball. We know Toronto likes to get out in transition. They're 4th in frequency, 7th in points per game in transition this season. Boston, probably the best transition defense in the NBA. 1st in efficiency on the year, 5th in points per game allowed. So you definitely don't like that if you're trying to bet Toronto. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty favorable matchup for the Celtics here. What worries me is the scheduling. Check out this spot for Boston. So you got them coming off the big game against the Knicks. Then you got this road game against Toronto. After this, you go to Detroit. No days off. So this is the front end of a back-to-back here for the Celtics. And after this, they got Cleveland and then Denver. So of this little 5-game stretch, this Toronto game is the least important. And they immediately go to Detroit after that. So I don't necessarily love the spot for the Celtics, and I incorporated that into the handicap here. But even after moving the line 2 whole points in the Raptors' favor, I still have this one at 13.5. So at 10.5, it's a bet for me. Give me Boston minus 10.5 next game. Cleveland on the road in Orlando here. The Cavs have been hot. 9-1 straight up in their last 10. 6-3-1 against the spread. Orlando 5-5 in their last 10. 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 as well. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 though. Looks like the Magic are finally getting their shit together here, specifically on the defensive side of the court. Third in defensive efficiency in their last 10 games. As you know, Cleveland's got green everywhere when it comes to efficiency numbers. 3rd offensively, 7th defensively in their last 10 games. We got a key injury question mark here on the Cleveland side. Darius Garland is on the report listed as questionable. We'll have to wait and see there. On the Orlando side, same as it has been. No Jalen Suggs. That's it's not a shocker. So these two teams have met once this year. That was back on November 1st. It was in Cleveland. Cavs won and covered. It went over the total. The final score was 120-109 Cleveland. What do we think about this matchup here? Well, right off the bat, I like this for the Magic defense. Like I said before, Orlando's been playing some defense as of late. I'll show you the numbers in a second. But look at the matchup here. Cleveland, 1st in the NBA in pick and roll frequency. They run a ton of pick and rolls. Orlando, 3rd in the NBA in defensive efficiency against the pick and roll. So I actually like that for the Magic. On the road in Orlando, don't be surprised if we see this high-powered Cavs offense struggle a little bit here. And it actually gets deeper than that. Check this out. What else does Cleveland do a lot of? Shoot the 3 ball. In the last 10 games, they're 9th in above the break frequency, 6th on the full season, 2nd in efficiency in the last 10 games. They shoot a ton of above the break threes. They hit a ton of above the break threes. Want to know who's been elite defending the perimeter? The Orlando Magic, top 5 in the last 10 games. I mean, pretty much top 5 on the season as well. And like I said before, this Magic defense is starting to look really good. In their last 4 games, they have a defensive rating of 99.3. That would be best in the NBA by a mile. Elite defense in their last 4 games. Now, one of them was against the Hornets with no LaMelo, but you got the Hawks in there. You got the Grizzlies in there. 2 offenses that could definitely score. So yeah, Orlando is playing some defense right now. You can see on the right side of this graphic that this is a huge step up from the defense we were seeing from the Magic prior to this. Now, on the other side of the court, obviously, this is where the concern comes in for Orlando. This is not an offense we particularly trust. That being said, we do have to give them a little bit of credit. They've been better. I'm not going to say the Magic offense has been good. It has been better. In their last 8 games, an offensive rating over 111. That's not terrible. Effective field goal percentage below 52% is still bad. But still, 111.4 in the last 8 games. 5-3 straight up, 5-3 against the spread in that span. Compare that to the previous 8 games, and it's not even close. From a 111 down to a 101. And they were 1-7 against the spread and straight up in that span. So the Magic offense has definitely been improved, and it's tough to poke holes in the Cavs defense because they have been playing great defense. But check this out. Something Cleveland has struggled with defensively this year, the pick and roll. They're 27th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against the pick and roll this year. Dead last in points per game allowed from the pick and roll. Orlando, 8th in the NBA in pick and roll frequency. Now they're 25th in efficiency, so they run a lot of pick and rolls. They're not particularly good at it. But matchup-wise, it's not bad here for the Magic offensively. Also, I forgot to mention on this same graphic, what's one of the strengths of the Cleveland defense? Transition. They're very good against the fast break. Not really a factor here because Orlando doesn't run the fast break. 24th in frequency, 29th in points per game in transition. So this actually might not be a bad matchup for Orlando offensively. Again, I'm not trying to tell you the Magic offense is good. Not trying to tell you it's going to go off on Cleveland. I'm just saying matchup-wise, it's not bad. Which is why when it comes to betting this game, now I know I've been kind of branded as a Cavs hater. That's not the case. I know I've faded them a little bit this year, but I'm going to be on Orlando in this one. I have this game at 3.5, and check this out. If Garland is ruled out, then I have this game at around 3. So at +6, I'm seeing value there. Give me the Magic, +6 next game. San Antonio on the road in New Orleans here. Last 10 games, the Spurs are 3-7 straight up, 3-7 against the spread. Pelicans 2-8 straight up, 5-5 against the spread. As far as efficiency numbers go, last 10 games, Spurs 22nd offensively, 14th defensively. Pelicans 19th and 26th, but look at the strength of schedule. Spurs are 27th in the last 10 games. Pelicans are 5th. So New Orleans has played a much stronger schedule as of late. Injuries on the San Antonio side, we have none. Spurs should be at full strength for this one. Just wanted to insert this real quick because I do it a lot. When I say at full strength, I mean of the active players. Obviously, Wembanyama is not playing. He's out for the season, and I make this mistake all the time. I forget about the players that are out for the season. So if you see me do that, it's a mistake I make often. Obviously, there's no Wembanyama, but he's out for the year. On the Pelican side, Brandon Boston is ruled out. That's not new. He's missed several games now. Other than that, Pelicans should be at full strength, obviously with the exception of Herb Jones and DeJounte Murray, who are ruled out for the year. So these two teams have met twice already this year. They've split 1-1. The home team is 2-0. So the Spurs won in San Antonio. The Pelicans won in New Orleans. The Pelicans have covered both, though. New Orleans is 2-0 against the spread against the Spurs this year. So will they cover a third? Well, San Antonio, since Fox has been inserted into the lineup, hasn't looked all that great. They're 2-6 against the spread, 3-5 straight up with De'Aaron Fox on the floor. Defensive rating at 115.9. Obviously, that's pretty concerning. But what's even more concerning is the rebound rate. Now, obviously, that's not a reflection of Fox. That's a reflection of missing Wembanyama. But we're talking about a 44% rebounding rate with De'Aaron Fox on the floor, which is absolutely terrible. Now, as far as the Spurs offense, right off the bat, we have a great matchup here. The Pelicans defense has been absolutely terrible in transition this year. They're actually 30th, dead last in defensive efficiency in transition. Loves to push the pace. They love to get out in transition. So that's definitely a positive angle for the Spurs here. After that, though, there's definitely some things here that I don't like. San Antonio's been attacking the rim. Remember, Fox has been inserted into the lineup. Wembanyama's out. So we're still trying to get a feel for what this Spurs team is offensively. In the last 10 games, they are attacking the basket. They're 10th in frequency, 10th in efficiency. So they've been pretty good at it. They're attacking the rim. They've been pretty good at it. Problem is, look at the New Orleans defense. In the last 5 games, they're 5th in the NBA in defensive efficiency at the basket. On the year, they're terrible protecting the rim, but if you look at the last 10, then the last 5, seems like they're definitely trending in the right direction there as far as protecting the rim. And also, another shot the Spurs have been taking a lot of, those long mid-rangers. They're 10th in frequency in the last 10 games. Pelicans, weirdly, a top 5 defense against those all season. So maybe not the best matchup for the Spurs offensively in this one. And I mean, we just saw these two teams play on Sunday. The Spurs offense was terrible. A 92.3 offensive rating in the game. They got blown out. Look at the rebounding rate, under 40%. So New Orleans defense, look, New Orleans not really a team known for its defense, but it looked great against the Spurs on Sunday, and that makes 2 games in a row where the Pelicans have been playing sound defense. A 100.1 defensive rating in their last 2. Look at the rebounding rate. They also were elite on the glass in both of those games. Look, by no means am I sitting here telling you the Pelicans defense is good. We can trust the Pelicans defense. You rewind past 2 games ago, this is like the worst defense in the NBA. I'm just saying it's not a terrible matchup. San Antonio should be able to score points, though. Now, on the other side of the court, right off the bat, we got a great matchup for the Spurs defense. They've been elite against the pick and roll all year. They're actually 3rd in the NBA in defensive efficiency against the pick and roll, 2nd in the NBA in points per game allowed via the pick and roll. New Orleans is 4th in pick and roll frequency, so they run a lot of pick and rolls. Spurs defense has been great against that, although most of these numbers were accumulated when they had Wembanyama on the floor. The main area of concern for this Spurs defense is right here. New Orleans is coming for the basket, and I don't think there's a damn thing the Spurs can do to stop it. I mean, in the last 10 games, since losing Wembanyama, 20th in defensive efficiency at the basket, 24th in the last 5 games, and the Pelicans are 2nd in rim frequency. So overall, I expect both offenses to score points in this one. Now, as far as the scheduling spot goes, little concerned about San Antonio. Obviously, both of these teams coming off the same game. They just played on Sunday, so if you want to play the mini revenge angle, that would favor San Antonio. But right after this, they go to Houston, no days off, so this is the first leg of a back-to-back. After that, they're in Memphis and then Oklahoma City. 2 of the next 3 games after this are on national TV, ESPN. Definitely don't like that, but there's 2 ways to look at this. You could say, oh man, the first leg of a back-to-back, that sucks. You could also look at it, the Spurs need to win this game because after this, they may lose 3 in a row. So the Spurs might look at this game as the one they need to have. So there's 2 ways to look at this scheduling spot. I still put it into the handicap. Either way, I had this one at about a pick, maybe Pelicans minus a half point. So at San Antonio plus 2.5, I would probably lean that way. Do we actually bet it? I haven't bet it yet. I'm leaning towards the Spurs here next game. Milwaukee on the road in Houston. Last 10 games, the Bucks are 6-4 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. Houston, however, 3-7 straight up, 2-8 against the spread. If you've been betting the Rockets, you are not doing okay. Betting the Rockets has most definitely not been profitable. That being said, if you look at the last 10 games, if you just look at the efficiency numbers, these 2 teams are really close. Milwaukee in the last 10 games, 21st in offensive efficiency, 11th in defensive efficiency. The Rockets, 23rd and 12th. So they're right there. And if you look at strength of schedule in that span, 19th and 22nd. So in terms of efficiency, these 2 teams have actually been playing very similar basketball. But in terms of covering the number, obviously Houston has definitely not been profitable. Injuries on the Bucks side, just Bobby Portis. He's suspended. Other than that, Milwaukee should be at full strength. Giannis is on the report listed as questionable. On the Houston side, we got a bunch of probables here. Jayshawn Tate, Dylan Brooks, Eason, Steven Adams, all listed as probable. They might get Steady Freddie back. Fred VanVleet listed as questionable. They've missed him too. We'll talk about it. I believe he's missed 9 games. So hopefully Houston can get Fred VanVleet back on the court. So let's get into this one. We'll start with the Rockets defense, and we got to give some credit to Houston. Like I said, they're not covering the number. We're talking about the last 5 games. They're 1-4 against the spread. But if you look at their defensive metrics, last 5 games maybe getting their shit together a little bit. Defensive rating under 108, that's great. Opponent effective field goal percentage, 50.3%, that's excellent. I mean, compared to the 6 games before that, defensive rating close to 121. So the Rockets defense might be coming around a little bit. And also, this is a great defense against jump shooters. Against the above-the-break three-point shot, they're 6th in defensive efficiency in the last 10 games. The reason I'm bringing that up, Milwaukee loves chucking shots from out there. They're 5th in frequency, 4th in efficiency in the last 10. So at first glance, this looks like it might be a decent matchup for a Rockets defense that's actually been playing better. But here's why I'm having trouble trusting the Rockets defense in this spot. On the Milwaukee side, we're going to have Giannis and Lillard on the court at the same time, something we haven't seen a lot of, and there's a difference here when we're talking about the Bucks offense. First of all, in the last 12 games, we're talking about 8-4 against the spread versus 4-8 against the spread. So in terms of results, no question, much better with Giannis and Lillard on the court rather than one of them being off. But look specifically at the offense here. The last 12 games with Lillard and Giannis on the court, offensive rating over 121 versus the last 12 games. And this isn't missing both of them. This is just missing one or the other. So in the last 12 games, without both of them on the court at the same time, offensive rating down at 107. That's a 14 points per 100 possession difference. To put it into perspective, the last 12 games with both of these guys on the floor, that's Oklahoma City Thunder numbers right there. The last 12 games missing one of them, that's Miami Heat offensive numbers. So yeah, I mean, when they're both out there, this offense is good. And also, what do Giannis and Lillard do a lot of? ISO. A lot of isolation. I mean, Milwaukee on the season is 6th in ISO frequency, 7th in efficiency. That's pretty much all Lillard and Giannis. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that's been an area of concern for this Rockets defense all season. They're actually 27th in the NBA in points per game allowed via isolation. So although the Rockets defense has been better recently, and I also like how they're a good defense against jump shooters, I still don't think I can trust them here. Both Giannis and Lillard are going to play in this game, and Milwaukee should be able to score points. Now, what about the matchup on the other side of the floor? What about the Rockets offense? Well, it's tough to make a call without knowing the status of Fred VanVleet. I mentioned before, they've definitely missed him. In the last 9 games without Steady Freddie on the floor, they're 2-7 against the spread. They were 5-3-1 in the 9 games before that. And look specifically at the offensive rating, 110.7 in the 9 games without him. Effective field goal percentage at 50%. That's really bad. In the last 9 games he played before getting hurt, up over 115. Definitely tough to make a call on that side of the court without knowing the status of VanVleet. But as far as betting this game, I like the matchup for the Bucks. The thing is, even if I give them a full point for the matchup with Giannis and Lillard, I mean, maybe I could have given them a 1.5. I put an extra point here on the Bucks side. Even with that, I still have this number pretty much right where the sports books have it at around 4.5. But look what happens when I take Fred VanVleet out of the lineup for Houston. Drops down to 2. So I'm leaning towards the Bucks in this one. I haven't bet it yet. If VanVleet's going to play, 4.5, that's probably about right. If VanVleet doesn't play, I would love the Bucks at this number. The problem is if he's ruled out, the line's going to drop. So puts us in a predicament. I lean towards the Milwaukee side, haven't bet it. I'll let you know what I ended up doing on the live show, but as of right now, I don't have a bet. Phoenix on the road in Memphis, and the Suns have been straight up bad. 2-8 straight up in the last 10 games, 2-8 against the spread. Look at the efficiency numbers here. 20th offensively, 28th defensively against the 17th strongest schedule. On the Memphis side, they're 8th in offensive efficiency, 15th in defensive efficiency, 3rd in strength of schedule in the last 10 games. So in the last 10 games, the Grizzlies have played significantly better basketball against a significantly stronger schedule. Memphis in that span, 4-5-1 against the spread. Injuries in this one, this will be short. There are none. Phoenix will be at full strength for this game, and so will the Grizzlies. So we're going to see a full strength, injury-free basketball. Well, at least we should. So let's get into this one, and we'll start with some previous meetings. These two teams have played twice so far this year. Both were in Phoenix. The most recent one being just a couple weeks ago. Memphis won both of those games, and they covered the number in both. They won by 5 the first one. They won by 7 the second one. Both of these games stayed under the total. So if you bet Grizzlies and under in these 2 games, you did just fine. So what do we think about this matchup here? Will that pattern continue? Well, right off the bat, I like this for the Grizzlies defense here. Memphis, not really a team that's known for its defense, but check it out. They're excellent against isolation. They're actually second in the NBA in defensive efficiency against ISO. The reason I'm bringing that up is they're playing the Suns. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. I mean, this is a team that runs a lot of ISO. They're very good at it. So right off the bat, there's a matchup I like for the Memphis defensively. Also, they're solid against spot-up shooters. 6th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against spot-up shooters. Another thing Phoenix does a lot of offensively. What does this Memphis defense struggle with? Transition. They're one of the worst defenses in the NBA against the fast break. 28th in points per game allowed via transition. Good news for Memphis. The Suns don't run any fast breaks. They're 29th in the NBA in transition frequency. So again, Memphis, not a team known for its defense. This is looking like it might be a solid matchup for Memphis defensively. Remember, Suns want to run a half-court offense, and if you isolate Memphis defense to just the half-court, they're actually 9th in the NBA in defensive efficiency in the half-court. So, again, looking like it might be a solid matchup for Memphis defensively. Now, I don't want to sit here and pretend like it's perfect. I mean, Memphis has a lot of size on the floor with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey, right? This is a team that's a little vulnerable to jump shooters. Obviously, Phoenix likes taking jump shots. I mean, there's those short little mid-range paint shots. They're 3rd in frequency on the season. The long mid-range shot, they're actually 4th in frequency on the season. So I'm not saying Phoenix isn't going to be able to score here. I'm just saying in terms of the matchup, it looks pretty good for the Grizzlies defensively. And let's not pretend like shit's sweet with this Suns offense. In their last 10 games, they have an offensive rating of 111 compared to 118 in the 12 games before that. So the Suns offense has been slumping a little. I mentioned how they're 2-8 straight up, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. So look, not to repeat myself, but I like the matchup for the Grizzlies defensively. Now, to be fair, I mentioned how the Suns offense is slumping a little bit. Do have to mention that the Grizzlies defense is going through a little something too. Now, just 4 games, not nearly as big as a sample size, but a 118.7 defensive rating in their last 4. And I mean, they're 0-3-1 against the spread in those 4. So I can't mention how Phoenix has been slumping and then not mention how Memphis is starting a little slump of their own. Just 4 games, but still a little bit concerning. But overall, like I said, I do think it's a decent matchup for Memphis defensively. Now, on the other side of the ball, this is the graphic we're looking at right here. What does Memphis do a lot of? Fast breaks. 1st in the NBA in transition frequency, 1st in the NBA in points per game in transition. The reason I'm bringing that up, look at the left side of this graphic. The Suns are pretty awful defending the fast break, 25th in the NBA in points per game allowed via transition. So yeah, Memphis is going to get out and run. They're fully healthy. Ja Morant's playing. They should not have problems getting out in the fast break and scoring points on this Suns defense. Also, even when they do miss shots, they should have no problems getting offensive rebounds. In the last 10 games, the Grizzlies are 2nd in offensive rebounding rate against a Suns team that can't rebound for shit. Acquiring Nick Richards most definitely did not help with that problem. So Grizzlies should have some second chance points as well. So where does that leave us in terms of placing a bet? Well, even with the added points here to the Grizzlies side for the matchup, I still only have this one at about 9.5. So, I mean, I do see an 8 at -115. I guess I like that a little. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I personally have this one Memphis -9.5, so I would lean towards the Grizzlies at this number. Next up, we got Charlotte on the road in Golden State, and I haven't looked at this one yet. Charlotte just played earlier tonight. They got crushed by the Kings. They lost by like 40 points or something. I would say, first glance at this game, Golden State looks pretty good. Everyone's starting to board the Golden State train. After what happened last night, no one wants to bet Charlotte right now. They look terrible. They're on a back-to-back. The numbers should be inflated towards Golden State a little bit. So first glance, just what's going on with these two teams, I would want to take a stab with Charlotte here. But like I said, I haven't looked at it. We'll talk about it on the live show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Next, Dallas on the road in LA, the game we've all been waiting for since the trade. In the last 10 games, the Mavs are 7-3 against the spread, 5-5 straight up. The Lakers even better than that. 8-2 against the spread, 8-2 straight up. In terms of efficiency, Dallas is 18th offensively, 23rd defensively. The Lakers are 6th and 2nd. So wow, Lakers are playing much better basketball than the Mavs recently, right? Well, we do have to incorporate the fact that they've played a much easier schedule. In the last 10 games, the Mavs are 8th in strength of schedule. The Lakers are 28th, and they're 30th in the last 5 games. So when we're looking at the Lakers' recent numbers, we do have to take that into account. They played a very easy schedule recently. Injuries on the Dallas side, you know the deal with this Mavericks team. They have no front court at all. No Anthony Davis, no Derek Lively, no Daniel Gafford. All of their bigs are out. Probably not getting Caleb Martin yet. He's listed as doubtful. PJ Washington is also on the injury report. He's listed as questionable. On the Lakers side, Lakers are actually in pretty good shape here. LeBron James, the only main piece on the report, and he's listed as probable. So what do we think of this matchup? Well, the other day, let's talk about the Dallas offense. And if you remember, it was on the live stream maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I was talking about the Mavs offense, and I was saying, guys, since Anthony Davis got hurt, this offense is cruising. They're struggling on the defensive side of the ball, but the Mavs offense looks great. And you can see, entering the All-Star break, a 121 offensive rating in the last 6 games. Those were without Anthony Davis. Here's my question. What happened? Because in the 2 games since the All-Star break, they have an offensive rating below 105. So the Mavs entered the All-Star break red hot offensively, came out of the All-Star break ice cold. I mean, it's only been 2 games, but an offensive rating below 105, that's definitely really bad. And they're going to be matched up against a Lakers defense that's defying all logic right now. Check this out. So the last game Anthony Davis played for the Lakers, it was 11 games ago. So if you look at this graphic, the last 10, that's exactly the 10 games the Lakers have played without Anthony Davis. Somebody explain to me how the Lakers have locked down the interior after losing Anthony Davis. In the last 10 games, they're 6th in the NBA in defensive efficiency at the basket, 2nd in the NBA in defensive efficiency in the paint. What? So let's reiterate that. The Lakers lose Anthony Davis. Since then, they're a top 5 interior defense. Make it make sense. Now, like I said before, we do have to mention Lakers have played an extremely easy schedule, arguably the easiest schedule in the NBA in their last handful of games, last 10 games. So we do have to take that into account. But still, we were all talking about how this Lakers interior defense was going to completely fall off. It's actually been the opposite. They're playing the best defense of the season right now. Look at the 3 games since the All-Star break. They have a defensive rating of 100. Opponent effective field goal percentage below 49%. Like I said, I don't know what's going on, but this Lakers team is clamping down on the defensive side of the ball. So you got a Mavs offense that, since the All-Star break, looks like shit against a Lakers defense that might be the hottest defense in the NBA right now. So yeah, I like the matchup for the Lakers defensively. Now, what about the matchup on the other side of the ball? What do we think about the Lakers offense here? Well, obviously, you got LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the court at the same time. We're going to see plenty of ISO. And on the season, the Lakers are 8th in isolation frequency. Dallas has actually struggled with that defensively. They're 26th in points per game allowed via isolation. So, okay, a decent start for the Lakers offense. Here's the thing. There's one angle that I absolutely love for the Dallas defense, and it's right here. Last 10 games, this Lakers offense has been extremely 3-point happy. They're actually 3rd in the NBA in above the break 3-point frequency, 7th in efficiency. These are like Boston Celtics numbers. The Lakers have been shooting a ton of threes in their last 10 games. The reason that's a concern, Dallas has been the best 3-point defense in the NBA in the last 10 games. They're 1st in frequency, so they're not even letting their opponents get those shots off. 3rd in efficiency, so when their opponents do get those shots off, they're not hitting them. So, okay, yeah, Dallas has struggled a little bit against isolation. I guess that's something. These 3-point shots that are going down for the Lakers, not sure if they can count on them being there against this Dallas defense that's been red hot against the 3-point shot. So where does that leave us in terms of placing a bet? I have this game at about 6.5, 7, so I guess I would lean towards Dallas, but I like the under better. It's all the way up at 230.5 and climbing. I actually see a 231, so I don't see any reason to bet it right now. I disagree with the market move. I'm going to be betting the under here. I just haven't bet it yet. I'll let you know on the live show. You can actually go on KyleKirms.com and click on open bets and see what I'm on. As I'm recording this, though, I haven't bet it yet, but I'm telling you, I'm going to be on the under here, like the under in this game. Live show, like I said, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's a loaded one because we got the NBA and it's a loaded college basketball night. Actually, we did a midnight stream. If you want to go see, we went through like 16 games already. If you want to go check it out. But we'll go through them all again. 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go through the NBA and college basketball. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Let's have ourselves a nice Tuesday. I need one, man. 0-5 Monday night for me. Hopefully, we can put that in the past. Please remember to bet responsibly. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me.